Kan niet meer rennen. Rustig staan, rust. Even eten.
Ik zit gewoon YouTube video te kijken terwijl ik aan het livestreamen ben.
Yo, even een knockback op je ding. Ouwe. Ik heb 4 achtjes, rustig.
Heb je er nu nog 2?
Ja. What the fuck? Dat is duur. Maar ik ga zo opnemen.
Oh shit, no.
Ik denk dat ik die shoot wel even kan trollen. Dus dat gaan we maar even proberen. Zo, ligt mijn stuff helemaal hier. Dat is luxe.
You could almost call it the candification of interfaces. Certainly it feels like it's taken a little bit of a leaf out of the iOS playbook. But
en hoe oud zijn jullie eigenlijk?
15.
Fully colorful.
Stan Hardback met 18, ben je niet?
Nee, dat kan gewoon werken.
Hij zegt altijd dat hij 18 is tegen mensen.
Nee, dat is alleen omdat jij er niet tegen kan.
Ja.
Maar wie zou dat geloven dan?
Nee, niemand die hem nog nooit heeft gesproken.
Via de chat en zo.
Wat gaat die kerel Endstone weggooien? Dat weet je ook nog wel.
Spam. Hey, word je nu niet volgespamd?
Nee.
Maar ik ga heel even ophangen en ik ga trollen, oké?
Yo.
They've also, for instance, a few of these items have been downloaded just as my auto backup kicked in and just started apps to me. But they had a settings icon within the app tray, which I don't ever remember being there before, or if it was, it had a really ugly looking icon for it. There's now a nice icon that will take you straight into your settings, which obviously if you long press, and you can just drop that wherever you happen to want it to be.
Komt Rowan nog wel eens online?
There's no pinch mechanism. So if you want to pinch
Die
between
nieuwe
home
ziet
screens,
er best
get it.
slecht
That's
uit.
not part of the Android experience.
Welke?
Looking at the pure Google Android.
Advanced
One of the things that was
Warfare.
interesting is they've released
Gaat die zo heten?
coding tool,
trailer
which
is
is
bekend.
apparently available for developers. Now I thought it was actually included as part of Android 4.4 out of the box, but it doesn't appear to be, or at least I can't find it anywhere. Maybe you have to go in and turn that on through developer tools. A lot of the stuff you will know pretty well. You know, it's the Google services, it's Google Plus, it's the Gallery app, it's Drive, it's Chrome.
Ja, wie gaat die nu trollen?
The standard stuff that comes with Android 4.4. Unfortunately, made a little bit more difficult here by auto backup having kicked in and decided to drop all that.
We horen vanzelf wel als dit gesprek joint.
Ja.
And so one of the things always worth looking at.
Zou hij nu aan het opnemen zijn? Zal ik hem niet killen?
And notification area has changed. So one of the main things is they now look quite a bit nicer than they used to, going with this kind of cool black and white vibe, and it feels like it has more pop to it than it used to do. It looked a little mucky before, in my opinion. But then also, if we come into here, we can then get into our settings. This stuff is pretty much the muchness. I haven't noticed any major changes in here particularly. The only big one is the printing option down at the bottom.
No.
Being part of previous Android experience.
Doe me slash backend niet.
Nee, klopt. Daarom ook.
System from here on out. So if you happen to use cloud printing, or if you have any of the Google Cloud Print services available, or the remote print, then effectively you can print directly from your Android device to any printer.
Die stand ik wat leukers.
Very handy,
Yo,
I must say. So we've got our usual thing, go in and do our Wi-Fi.
Kijk,
One major change they've made in Android 4.4 is better support for
Wat is dit?
Bluetooth
Middle of
devices,
nowhere.
things like the Fitbit and so on. If we come into more, we've got our airplane.
Die mic ziet er best wel sick uit. Hoor je dit nu? Dit? Dat ik zo beweeg?
And this allows you, if you
Beetje.
have multiple different
Hey, dit is gewoon bij jullie.
device,
Nou
you
niet.
can pick which one will be the default app.
Oh.
Fantastic and about time too. And one thing they've done with Google Hangouts is integrate SMS and Hangouts into
Kerel is
one
shooters
application.
te...
So now Hangouts
No, what the fuck?
you don't have Hangouts, Google Talk, SMS app and everything else. You just have one app to do
Staan
everything.
filters voor
Like I say, for manufacturers, developers and
Ja,
so on,
omdat jij
you
me
put
steeds
into
dit
this,
weet.
And if you have an SMS app, you'll be able to make it the default
Mooi
from now
man.
on. That is really, really great news. You can
Nee, je
just
hoort
pick
dit
which app
gewoon
you want
goed?
to use and you're not constantly fighting the notifications.
Nee?
All the
Nee,
time.
ik kon nu niks.
See, some changes to the way NFC works, purely from a point of view of making payments. That's one of the big things they've done here. So NFC now
ja, je praat.
Ja, maar hoor je het gewoon hard of te hard of te zacht?
Gewoon goed.
Jezus, wat een microfoon is dat, man. Ik zit er nu 30 centimeter vandaan of zo.
Knockback, bitch.
Hopefully this year, I keep saying it every year, but hopefully this will be the year NFC catches on. Tethering and portable hotspot, your VPN,
Stop!
Plan your mobile broadcasts in there. Now, one of the other new areas is home. Now in here, you can basically set what the launcher is going to be. So that's the default launcher. And I've also got smart launcher, it's just installed as well, pulling from my auto backup. But effectively, you can now set these or delete them as necessary. That is going to make life so much easier for me especially.
Oké. Maar ik mag hem niet.
No more hacking, basically, to make sure your launcher is always using the default when you hit your back button. In sound, we've got the usual standard.
Als hij mij 1 keer slaat, dan gaat hij dood.
You have no idea how annoying it is because obviously I look to
ik ben aan het bouwen.
The initial setup here in blip or blip every time I touch something. So having that turned off by default is fantastic. You can of course turn that on if you need to. Display. Just our brightness. Standard googly brightness slider. Nothing special there. Wallpaper, this is where we can set our Android wallpaper, including the new smart wallpapers. I'm not actually sure about those yet. Live wallpaper. Just my photos basically. And obviously wallpapers at the bottom, which includes a couple of new ones by the looks of it. Ooh yes, very nice. Let's have a bit of that, shall we? Oops. Do that properly. Set wallpaper up at the top, there we go. There's also your sleep timeout and the auto rotation settings. Sleep timeout, this is how long the screen will stay on for before it's set to. You've got the daydream. Could do before, they haven't expanded that unfortunately. So you've got photo frames, that's one of my apps that's adding itself in, standard colours.
Hoe lang zal ik hem muten? 2 minuten?
Set your fonts.
Ja, doe dat.
Pulse notification light.
Wacht heel even, ben zo.
Effectively, whenever you get a message or an alert on your device, it will pulse the notification light, which is somewhere here, I think. Actually, where is it on the Nexus 5? That's a really interesting point. Does it have one? Must have. Well, we will find out where the pulse light is, because actually, I'm not sure it's got one. Which would be interesting. And you've also got access to do the wireless display if you want to, which is known as Mirrorcast, I believe, to give it its technical term. If we come into storage, this is where we can do our space. As you can see, I've only got 9 gig available now, 12 gig overall. This was a 16 gig Nexus 5 model, and obviously a load of my apps have now installed themselves. Interesting to note though, if you got the Galaxy S4, then you actually only got 9 gig of available space because of all of the extra stuff that Samsung had installed. So it's really nice here that a 16 gig device actually had 12.5 gig available for me to install things. Even now when I've installed all of my stuff from the auto backup, I still have nearly as much space as a Samsung would out of the box. Kind of shows you how bloated some of these main manufacturers have become with their
Yo mensen van OB Gameplay, snelle video. Ik ga zo meteen livestreamen www.twitch.tv/elsatimo. Hallo mensen van OB Gameplay. Vandaag Half-Life 2. Ik heb de eerste 3 hoofdstukken hoofdstuk 4 heb ik gespeeld. Zoals jullie zien is er veel mee te doen, dus ik ga hem op een gegeven moment sowieso gewoon zwart lopen natuurlijk.
Operating systems. You know, one thing that we really need to see from Android is more space as default when you take it out of the box, not less, because you're adding more and more useless features. So good on Google for keeping things slim and making sure that, you know, as many gig as possible is free for us. Battery, this is very standard stuff, shows you what's running in your device right now, so what's been using up space over the preceding time period. So you can see here my screen is draining 30% of my battery, Android OS 15%, Android system, etc. Very handy way of just seeing what's going on the device and what might be killing your battery. If we go into apps, again, all standard stuff. They've not made many tweaks here really. I think a lot of it is, you know, everything's gone a bit grey, so we've got the nice black background, grey status bars, etc. But the interface generally hasn't changed that much on the Android 4.4 update. Location, we can turn our location services on or off, and we can also now change how accurate we would like that to be, and it gives a bit more information over 4.3 on what's really going on there. If you drop it into battery saving mode, it will just do Wi-Fi and mobile networks to estimate the location, put it on high and it will kick in the GPS as well. Do device only, use GPS to pinpoint the location. So you've got a few choices now as to how you want location to work, and more importantly, thank you Google, it's actually explained properly how that works and how it really relates to saving your battery, etc. Security, it's your screen locks, it's your widgets on the home screen, encrypting your phone, passwords, everything like that. And will you allow unknown sources? Always worth doing in my opinion. And install from internal storage. Basically, if there's anything security related, you will find it in there. Language and input, this is where your keyboards are kept. As you can see, I've got quite a few, including Google Hindi and Google Pinyin even. Which I definitely have never installed previously, and Google Korea, definitely never installed that one. But presumably that is just defaulted in for us, which is nice. Now with backup and reset, what they've allowed you to do is to back up absolutely everything into the cloud now, up to Google services. So you can go into there and it just has your standard options are in there basically. Date and time accessibility